Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar on the Counterparty Risk Mitigation enabled by blockchain and the financial messaging transformation. My name is Meenu and I'm from XinFin. Joining me in this webinar is Paul Ruskin, who is the Director of Business Development at XinFin-TraceFinancial. XinFin-TraceFinancial is a leading financial messaging and integration provider for some of the major global financial institutions. Also joining me here is Mr. Onkar Mestri, my blockchain engineer colleague from XinFin, who will be helping us out with the webinar logistics. Thank you, Onkar, for pitching in. Okay, to start with, Paul, can you just start with sharing a bit about yourself?
Yes, certainly. As you said, my name is Paul Ruskin. I work at XinFin-TraceFinancial. I've worked at Trace for over 20 years now, okay. So I have seen quite a few different trends and initiatives in the financial market space, and I'm here to basically show you how easy it is to transform any message format into any other message format using our tool.
Good, perfect. So yeah, maybe we'll be talking about the details on the transformer and a little bit more on XinFin-TraceFinancial if you'd like towards the later part. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a technology evangelist. And I have worked across a multitude of deep technology domains, and these domains include the semiconductor, deep learning. And now over the last couple of years, I have also started working on blockchain, and that's predominantly with XinFin. And I'm helping evangelize XinFin's hybrid blockchain technology and working towards developing a vibrant ecosystem for the same here. So that's on the introductions, and let me start with a quick look at the webinar outline. Yep, okay. So we will start with, I'll talk a little bit about, give you an introduction on XinFin, then touch a bit on the XinFin-TraceFinancial partnership, setting up of the masternodes on the XinFin Mainnet, and transformer being offered on the masternodes of XinFin for that. And then, Paul, you can speak about XinFin-TraceFinancial and transformer and specifically on this blockchain network. And then we'll open it up for the question and answer sessions. Okay, let me start on XinFin. So what is XinFin? XinFin is an enterprise-ready hybrid blockchain. And it is specially targeted, or it's focused on the global trade and finance market. Being hybrid, it combines the power of a public blockchain, so the availability of the blockchain to everybody, to multiple participants, being transparent, being decentralized, truly decentralized, that's all the things which are associated with a public blockchain. And on the private blockchain, the benefits include things like security, privacy, and high-speed transactions, which are basically used by the enterprises. And the XinFin network is open source, and the protocol is open source, and it is fully EVM compatible. A bit on the hybrid blockchain. So as I mentioned earlier, hybrid blockchain consists of the public blockchain. That is, all the participants are a part of this public blockchain. And then there's a private network part, or the sub-network. It's also referred to as sometimes the permission network. And this restricts the participation to only a selected set of entities, those set of entities which are invited by a centralized body. And so thus hybrid provides the enterprise-ready blockchain solutions, which are, in my opinion, I think they are much better suited to highly regulated enterprises and government, because it enables them to have a flexibility and control, like what data has to be kept private and what data can be shared on a public ledger. And it also addresses the operational requirements of security, auditability features, etc., which are not really suited for public blockchains, with public blockchains. And the large enterprises, they want the benefits that a blockchain can deliver without the associated risks of a public blockchain, as much as they can avoid it. And this is especially true in a stage when, in a stage or a phase where the blockchain is still nascent, it is evolving. And enterprises are treading on, or they're actually starting on adopting this blockchain, and they want to minimize the risk as to when they're going to get your business efficiency, cost efficiency, and new different business models. But they're still a little bit wary of treading onto it. So in my opinion, this is an optimal thing for a hybrid blockchain, is an optimal structure for the enterprises to start getting into the blockchain thing. And on the same slide, we see a couple of items, TradeFinix and MyContract. TradeFinix and MyContract are a couple of DApps, the decentralized applications, which are available on, or which are implemented on the XinFin network, as to show what is the power of XinFin network, what things can be done on it. So there are a couple of DApps which we have done here. TradeFinix is it's a decentralized open API platform, and it helps to connect multiple entities. So for example, these entities could be buyers, suppliers, financiers, investors, etc., government bodies, regulatory entities, and so forth. So this platform helps to address a P2P, a peer-to-peer trade finance, and it also helps in the asset tokenization of your real world assets. So all your physical assets can be converted into digital assets, and they can be made available on the blockchain, and then you could proceed with them to do various transformations, various things on it, get them into a liquid state, and there can be interoperability of the financial instruments and so forth. And they're all mapped as a digital identity on a KYC enforced XinFin network. The other one is your MyContract. That's again another platform which helps us to create tokens and smart contracts without the specific need for the user to code. So it automatically generates it, and it's a very simple process. It's a kind of a one-click thing, and you have to fill in the various variables, whatever information is required for your token. And then the smart contract for the token is automatically generated. Now, these tokens, they could be used, in example, for your ICO, your initial coin offering. It could be used as a security token. It could be utility token, depending upon whatever the client wants from that particular token. So these are two examples of your DApps which are available on the XinFin network, TradeFinix and MyContract. Touching about the XinFin and the TraceFinancial partnership. Paul, just feel free to interject wherever you want to.
Sure.
Okay, so earlier this year in April, TraceFinancial signed a partnership agreement with XinFin, and as a part of this agreement, TraceFinancial's product, it's a flagship product, Transformer, that will be offered on the XinFin network masternodes. And Transformer is used for the financial instruments messaging transformation. So it does the message mappings using any format, including the financial standards like Swift, MT-MX, ISO 8583, and so forth. So Paul, I'm sure, is going to talk a little bit more in detail about Transformer and the specifics later on. But just want to mention one point here, that going forward, Transformer will help the financial institutions which are there on the XinFin network masternodes to convert their traditional messaging formats for the financial instruments into blockchain recorded identities. And with these blockchain identities, this will help to enable or address the counterparty risk mitigation to the secondary market channels. And when we speak about the counterparty risk mitigation, this remains a big challenge for all the financial instruments globally. And I think what we do need is there's a need to set up an easy-to-use platform, something which is very easily hosted. You can work on it. It's an easy-to-use platform in which you don't worry about the logistics. You just take care of whatever functionality that you want to achieve. So we need to set up an easy-to-use platform in a very compliant environment so that the financial institutions which are a part of it, they can quickly go through your proof of concept and the pilot projects. And one of the places like we do that is, for example, in the Abu Dhabi sandbox, Abu Dhabi Global Market Sandbox, where we have a license to do that. And when I speak about an easy-to-use platform, I would like to show how simple it is to set up or host the masternodes in the XinFin network. And before I get onto it, just a couple of a bit on the masternodes. The masternodes are actually your full nodes, but they have additional functions. And these additional functions include things like validation. It could be securing the network, the governance of the network, and so forth. And for these additional functions, these masternodes, or the guys who are the entities which are hosting these masternodes on the network, they are incentivized with block reward payouts and so forth. And something which is especially important for the enterprises is that the masternodes can also set up their own private subnetwork. So whatever they want to keep it as a private thing, that could work on it. And to host a masternode in XinFin network, one needs to stake in around 10 million XDC tokens. So how do you host a masternode? I have actually a brief demo video for the same, but before I share that, let's hear a bit about TraceFinancial and Transformer from Paul. So Paul, I just hand it over to you now.
Sure. So TraceFinancial, around 15 years ago, developed a piece of software called Transformer. What we recognized in the market was that the common middleware tools, the ETL tools, the extract, transform, and load, were concentrating mainly on the connectivity part of the processing, i.e. the orchestration and marshalling of connecting to JMS, FTP, etc., whereas no one was concentrating on the actual pure transformation element, which is the thing that changes the most. Once you create a connection to a system, whether it's JMS or FTP, that remains quite static, whereas the mappings themselves are constantly changing. New standards are appearing, current standards are evolving, such as the SwiftMT and the ISO formats, and so these mappings were constantly needing to be changed, and either the graphical user interfaces that were on the market at the moment were quite cumbersome and slow, or you would have to do this in code, meaning that your development team would be writing XSLT or Java. So we developed a software called Transformer that is a graphical user interface that allows business analysts or developers or testers to build and configure mappings from any format into any other format. So there is no coding or scripting required in the tool, and once you've built and tested these mappings within the tool, you can deploy that into any infrastructure, whether that's Linux, Unix, Windows, called by Java, Camel, C#. We are very agnostic to where that is being called. So this is perfect for a situation such as XinFin and Trade Finance, where they require customers who want to come on board to this brand new, exciting initiative, but don't have the capabilities to basically have messages within JSON formats, or they have their own proprietary formats, but need to transform them into this standard that requires to go over the blockchain. And that is where Transformer is key. And that's our unique selling point, in that it's a very easy graphical tool that you can create complex mappings and then deploy anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, actually, as what you just mentioned, it's an easy to use, and you do not need to have, it's without scripting or coding. And just make it very simple for the end user to pick it up and leave the onus of, the actual functions, etc. That's the only thing which is required for that user to do, rather than get into the backend and do all this coding or scripting or, focus on the network, for example.
Absolutely. So the key element here is that for the messages within Transformer, either your input or your output to a mapping, normally it's using industry standards, and customers are not going to be building a Swift library internally. So we provide things like the Swift library, which has all the network validation rules and all the field and message validations. And then on the flip side, you have your own proprietary in-house messaging, or you have customers giving you formats such as CSV or JSON or XML or Edifact. You can build them very quickly within the tool, again, using drag and drop. And everything is based basically on Java. So the back end of Transformer is a Java product. So what we do is we basically give those Java functions in a GUI and allow a person like myself, who has no coding background, to build very complex mappings and make sure they're valid before they hit any network.
So I think it's a kind of a pretty good match out there. Like, you do not need to know coding to do your to write your smart contracts that's being generated. The tokens can be generated. You're hosting your master nodes would be not a big chore. It's going to be a breeze. Having your financial messages transformation happening with a good, very interactive GUI and helpful to the user. Everything just puts it together to a very easy to use background or an infrastructure for the user.
Absolutely. And you mentioned tokenization.
Yeah.
If I'm using myself as an example, when I build a mapping that goes from, say, a Swift message into a JSON format that needs to go over this blockchain, I honestly don't want to know about tokenization. I want that to happen behind the scenes. I just want to build my mapping.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is the beauty of, that's the beauty of where Transformer fits in so nicely with you, in the sense of a user doesn't have to worry about what goes underneath the engine. You just want to be able to say, right, this field goes to here, or I need to enrich this data, I need to validate this. And the actual clever part of the blockchain happens outside of that. And and that's what I want to concentrate on if I'm building a mapping.
Perfect. I guess because at the end of the day, as everybody says, it's the benefits of the technology that people want. They don't actually need the technology per se, right?
Absolutely. And the key element here for new initiatives like this, when you've got institutions or people with their own message structures, you want to make it as easy as possible to get onto these new exciting initiatives. And so if you're having to tell them, oh, you've got to give this message in this format, that's when a lot of these initiatives sort of fade away, because customers don't have time to do that. They just want to say, look, I have this message, I want to be involved. And that is the beauty and a really key element of what you're doing, is telling people, just give us whatever format you've got and use this tool, and then you can get onto our initiative very quickly.
Absolutely. That's great, actually. Thank you, Paul. Before we run the video on how we can set up the masternodes on the XinFin blockchain with just a few clicks, let me just mention to the community members that please drop in your questions on the chat channel. We will address those questions after the demo video. Could we just have the video now?
Log on to https://xinfin.org/setupmasternode.php. Hello everyone. Hope you are doing good. Set up Masternode with just one click. For now, you can download Windows and Linux. Mac OS will support soon. You need to just set up and install the one-click installer on their local machine. Then, run the one-click installer. Make sure you read the terms properly and accept it. C Program XinFin Network will be your destination folder. C User Lenovo App Data Roaming XDC Chain will contain your keystore folder. And make sure you create the backup of your keystore folder. You need to start the one-click installer with just one click. You can then see the address for the one-click installer. Following this, you can change the network easily from Mainnet XinFin Network to Testnet Apatha. You can see the node Urvashi windows running properly on stats and block is getting synced properly. Next, create a wallet address from XinFin Original Wallet. You can create wallet with mnemonic phase and keystore. We always recommend it with keystore for running a master node. Make sure to enter a strong password and while creating the wallet. Don't lose your keystore file nor share it with anyone. And always take a backup of your keystore file. If you lose it, all your funds will get locked. After creating backup, download your keystore file. Access your wallet with the private key mnemonic phase and keystore file. Access your wallet, select your keystore folder and enter your password properly to access your wallet. So, if you need to fund your address from Faucet to host the masternode, you just need to copy your address. Then paste it and it will get 11 million XDC to your account. You can check the transaction at XinFin Scan. Just refresh your balance and it must show up there. Click on your print button to see your wallet info and private key. For hosting the masternode, you need to copy the private key and log in the masternode app with my private key. You need to check the KYC if false, then upload the KYC for the masternode. Click on Become Candidate if you want to find the format of the KYC to upload. Make sure you upload the KYC in PDF format. Once you've uploaded your KYC, you need to enter the Coinbase address, which is in your one-click installer. Then paste that address here and apply for masternode. You will see a notification confirming your application. You can see the address, their stake amount, and the status of masternode. You can also check the KYC of the masternode by just clicking on KYC to check the PDF format of the KYC. You can then see your masternode as proposed. This indicated that you have successfully hosted the masternode.